Nobody? Nope. Nope. Oh, maybe. No, we're good. We're safe. Okay, let's get started. I'm starting early today. Look at that. It's clear. This is just showing you some of the drawing that I did for the page that I'm posting today. After this, it's done. I just, didn't post it yet. Things happen. We get busy. But there's our first page for on this nice craft big 1 foot by 2 foot sheet. And it's from a suggestion by Linda of Zimmer frames as hover chairs. So I had the whole, you'll see it. It's she reminisces and talks about, so we're just getting in touch with her hands and her legs and her need of the Zimmer frame. And then we get into remembering when she's a little girl on her bike. And now she soars in a different way. So that's the page that I did for today. Hi, Liz. How you doing? It's a big piece of paper. It really is. I mean, these sheets that take up the frame are 11 by 17. That is 12 by 24. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to get my big goofy head out of the way. And let's get crack-a-lackin'. So, basically, what I thought I might do today is to. I'm going to really enjoy the Sunday drawing you sent out. Which drawing did I send out? Did I send it out? I don't remember if I did or did not. I put one video out this weekend, and I intended to put out a second, and I'm still not sure if I did or not because it's been a weekend. Oh, yeah, okay, so I did. I wasn't sure if I sent out the Sunday drawings or not. So that's what I do during sermons. Anyways, I've got, people like that. That's grand. I know that some people are like, what in the world is this? And, well, that's me. So buckle up. I've got a sheet of paper laid out already. And I've got the sketchbook that's almost done. Look, it's a spaceship. And so I've talked about this before where I've taken elements from a page and put together a composition from that. And so I thought we could do a little bit more on that. Now, I've been scanning pages from the book in order to assemble a sketchbook to put out in the same format as our other books. But I started scanning and then I realized, hey, Runciman, stop scanning things and get one page story extravaganza volume 3 out. So that's what I'm focusing on first. But I thought what we might do is play with a little idea of something here. Now, these are all scribbles and doodles and, just playing with a ballpoint pen. And let's see if I can focus that better. Is that better? A little clearer? So with all of these different, maybe it's the range of the camera is a problem. So with all of these different doodles and scribbles and things that I do, it's really just a case of grabbing a pen and just going and allowing that with oneself. Now, there's two different things that I've suggested really work for me. Now, I'll show you something here. This is one of these random containers that I carry around. And in this are a load of Staedtler grays. Now, these, I'll show you the set. This is the set here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is clearly black. And those are Fudenosuke's. These are Studio, like Micron. That's a Fudenosuke black. What is going on here is that I got another. I better put that in there. So there's a soft and a hard tip for the Fudenosuke blacks. There. So what's going on here is that there's this nice range of grays that I have, right? And I've got an extra one here. So this bad boy. I like these staylers because they're a nice brush tip, and it's a soft tip, no less. And this is a cool gray medium. So there's a couple of different things that can happen between these two mark making tools. And I want to see the big benefit of having a sketchbook and allowing yourself to scribble and doodle at your heart's leisure. Put down story ideas. These are, I posted these on the weekend as well. This is the same principle. It's a marker, a pen. I think it's actually 2 highlighters, an orange and a pink, and a red pen. And then I came afterwards with a little bit of boop, boop, boop with the white. But oh wow, that's very cool. That's very cool, Liz. So one of the things about this is that it makes you think of form as you're putting together a composition and thinking about your subject matter. And so that's what these studies were. And a fairly good bit of fun there. Oh, I didn't realize I had 3 more I had to add in. Oh, and there you go. 4 more, actually. And now I know. And knowing. So this is one of these conceived ideas where you're scribbling with a pen, and then you just come in with a gray and then splat some white on it. Now it's space. And here we've got empty chairs. Nice. And then we've got a composition, right? And so this became a page. But trying out all these different things, scribbling monkey faces from where you might have seen one, or characters with the masks on, and as you're looking through stuff and experimenting with stuff, it sort of empowers you to then take that and how do you apply that to your own compositions like this. And by drawing it like this, so this is a prime example of gray pen, black marker. And I'm sorry, gray marker, black pen. Woo, backwards. What this gives you is you have to think about the form first, then just the subject, right? And what that does is really gives you a solid sense of the thing that you're drawing. It makes you think about where those shapes come together in order to create things. Did you fit anything else in those pages? Well, there's a little room right here. This is problematic to me. Anyway, so, and look at the dolphin. Yeah, it's a fish. Problems. So yeah, so this is the same thing. We're just trying stuff out. But what this gives us, what this enables us to have from doing these, look at all the empty space on that one, Liz. I'm gonna have to draw on this. What this, I think I left it empty so I could scan it, and I just never got back to it, just because I could just keep moving forward. But what these do is that they give us all of this fodder material for us to put into something, which is great, which is ideal, because when you're doing these and you're trying things out, like a skeleton guy running around or whatnot, when you're trying to figure out projects and you're trying to do things, this is where you look. This is where you see stuff that makes those connections for you in your head. And yeah, then we can even break down pages this way with these. Just two tools. Two tools like these. These are just drawing things as silhouettes with a yellow marker, and then giving a little outline to pick up on those shapes, to pick up on, do these characters make sense? Can somebody understand that this is a lady skating along or walking along in the snow? Or here's 2 people chatting. Here's a person sitting, right? Yeah, so here's a guy tipping his hat. So yeah, so it's more and more the same, more and more just scribbling and doodling. And you can see how some of these have been used in pages and some of these have not. But it's all about just letting yourself go. And by doing so, who knows what you'll find. So I thought, why not? There's a couple of different ways I can do this. I can just go like this and then have to make something out of this. Or there is an art drawing page that gives drawing source with a timer for them to learn to draw quickly. Yes, that's definitely a thing. There's model studies to work from. There's a whole bunch of different poses with a live with a person. It's not necessarily live because it's static image, but there are resources like that on the interwebs. So this is another thing I keep around in the studio. Maybe we want to play with this a little bit too. Let's put these two things together. These are just cards of random bits of paper that I've, scribbled some marker on that or got some tape on that. Here's, I like these as compositions of a field with the sky above it. But there's this part of me that's like, what do I add to that? So why don't we use one of these and draw on one of these, and that'll be our starting point. So, okay, so I'm going to pick an element out of this book. I think, let's do these two people. Okay, so now I've got, looks like a Pegasus horse in this drawing already. So let's leave that in the foreground and just draw these two people in the background. So I've got the gray marker and I'm just sourcing the image that I've already drawn. And then I'm just going to come in with this gray. So today I was drawing in a completely different way by using the white pencil on the dark surface. And now we're going to do the opposite of putting in the shadows first instead of the light. So excuse me while I switch my brain. So I'm going to, for the time being, leave out the spaces. Well, I'm so sorry, I'll move over. I'm going to, for the time being, leave out I'm not going to cover up the unicorn for the moment. We'll see. See how it goes. I might yet change my mind on that. Depends on if I want to show this hand here or not, right? So I've left out space on this part of the arm because right now I'm thinking about our character and I'm drawing in the shadows. Even though I haven't drawn the shadows here, we're drawing in the shadows. How you doing, Salty? So that's the fun thing about sketchbooks is something like this, can be drawn upon later. This random person you started drawing in and abandoned, you can draw on later. This crazy horse shape you can draw on later. That's the fun of it all. Hi, Chris, welcome aboard. So yeah, so I thought let's try that. So some of the yellow markers peeking through now. Maybe I can make this. Or do we want it bigger? I guess this is a good size because you can see the source and you can see what we're doing with it. So this is tape across here that I'm drawing on in the moment. And so here's our guy. I'm still leaving out, let's get, there we go. All right, so we'll leave our horse peeking through for the moment. And I'm going to use this pen as I really enjoy drawing with pen, and I haven't been doing it enough. Now I'm going to start doing some of these defining lines around our character shape here. So the arm that we were making room for, now you can see it peeking through. I don't know if the horse in the foreground works for me. I think maybe we just draw over top of it. If people have an idea of yay or nay on that, let me know in the chat or in the comments afterwards. Oh, right on. Yeah. 16th. I think. No, I'm sorry. I can't do it on the 16th. I am going to be doing live drawing in a mall here in London. So I will be, unfortunately, unable to do so. So I changed the perspective on the face a little bit. I don't know if I like that or not. We'll decide in a minute. I think I don't. I think I want it to be more downturned. So we'll clean this up in a second. Yeah, that's really annoyed me now. We'll fix it. We've got the technology. All right, so if this is his chest area coming through now, rather straight line on this guy. Not a definition. We're going to change those lines of shapes a little bit. Oh yeah, I'll have you. Would love to do it again, but maybe we'll have to do it another time, just because I'll be. I've got a class I'm doing. So here's our character coming through now. Made this decision about moving over top of the existing composition on the page. It just becomes. We have the power to choose that because it's our drawing. So I'm going to bring that gray through here as well. Start to define the knee a little bit. A bit of gray in there. And let's draw our second person now. So our second person is this one. And let's do it with the gray first. Hey, it's Doug. How you doing, Doug? Draw quickly, learn to ignore your internal critic, fix it later. Yes, indeedly do. Doug, it's fantastic to see you stopping in here, sir. All right, so now I'm just going to come in and fill in this large area with this shape, with this crazy kid. Why not, right? Right. I'm drawing the shapes first. I'm just drawing the shape language. That's the fun. Let go of, like Doug was saying, let go of that internal critic. Let go of all that. Well, you got to do it this way. You don't do it the way you're feeling like in the moment. Let it go. Pocono. So here's this crazy kid's hair now. Going back over this tape area again. And we're going to pull some white in here as well in a moment. But for the time being, here we go. I want to change the shape of this crazy kid's head. I think I want it like this now, because I said so. So let's start pulling some lines out. I really like the chin jutting out here, and the sharp nose. The makes me think of Rod Stewart. I don't know why, but it likes me some Rod Stewart. So taking some, our source stuff is great. We'll do what we can to try to pick up on it. But if we change a little bit, hey, life has changed. All right. So next Monday, exciting day, Doug. So here's this kid coming in. Actually, I'll fill in the gray in a moment. Let's get his legs in here. Some legs that were made for walking. I kind of like his little booties in the sketch in the book. Wish I'd thought about putting those sketch booties in there. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Doug. Been on my mind. Right, so I'm just putting it down flat, and this is the reason that I have this marker separate from those others that I showed you, is that this is from a previous little set of them that I had, and this guy is almost cooked. So we're getting some use out of them for what we want. But he doesn't have much more life, I don't think. All right, so let's put in some of these fun details that we have in our sketch. You know, not having to stick hard and fast to it. Play a little bit. Thinking about how those shapes move around. All right, so I've got, I gotta wait here somewhere. What's your name? I'm a pen. All right. Yes, you are. No, you're a dead pen. Okay. I don't know why that's still around. I knew that already as soon as I picked it up. So this, what have I got? There we go. I'm going to play with a couple things in this. Maybe we'll throw, oh yeah, let's do this first. Okay. Now we're cooking with the gasoline here. What's anyone drawing lately? Oh, great question. All right. These are just some colored markers, brush tip markers. Regular tip marker at the other end, but I just like this. These colors, I'm going to start throwing some of these colors in here and seeing what that gives us. Let's give this crazy kid some of that stylish updo, huh? Boom, boom, boom. Now I got Rod Stewart in my head. Anybody else? Mandolin Rain. It was originally Maggie May, but now it's Mandolin Rain. Why? Because I love you. So I'm just picking out some lines around. Yeah, I'll be posting this other page after the stream. It's been a bit of a weekend, but you know, we're here. We're all here. So let's see if it's going to let me pull in some of these shapes as well. Now, what is this scene? I don't know, but we've still got some more things that we can draw on. In our sketchbook. Right? Right. So, where was I? Ballpoint pen. That's my new best friend. Okay, so we've pulled this one out. We pulled this one out. That's a crazy shape. I don't know what that is. Big horse. So that's the fun thing about keeping. Let me see if I can get this in. I'm gonna wiggle and jiggle the camera for a second, folks. Bear with me. So this is what I keep beside me in the studio, is this assortment of pens and markers and whatnots and thingamajigs to draw with. And so the reason behind all of that is that it lets me just grab whatever that's nearby. I feel compelled. I'm going to switch to drawing whatever our background element is in a different color. That's too light. How about you? What do you like? What do you like? There we are. So, the latest Laz story. Laz bought a new broom. So I told him, what? I'm telling oh, you brought me a broom. And I said, it's for you to ride. Oh, for my goodness sakes. That's love. That's love, folks. All right, so the horse. Let's put this horse not jigger there in, and so let's try to figure out how to get the most of it in. So if I put the eye here, is that going to be big enough? Let's go bigger. Go bigger, go home. And then we start putting in, so we're picking from, I'll move it over, I'm so sorry. We're picking from this element that's in our book. And we're drawing this into our composition now. And I placed it in the spot here so that hopefully I'm going to get the key little details and elements like the horse's nostril and the eye and the snout now, and so that we can recognize it as some kind of a horsey-like shape. And behind. So as we're putting this in behind the forward characters, it's a great joke. Then this just makes it more interesting. Is this an actual a horse character or something like that? You know, we can make these decisions as we go, right? Right. Trying to draw a thing when your hand is covering a thing makes an interesting situation. So there we go. We've got this additional character inserted now in our background as part of the whole thing, and we'll just keep filling in from these pre-supplied images that we have in the sketchbook. And, you know, making sure that we don't, you know, we're not drawing over the part of the compositions in the foreground. We've already made an active choice to have these characters here in this situation. So we're just trying to figure out how to incorporate the horse, of course, in the background. And then we get to make those decisions about, do we continue the horse, draw the rest of its body, have it be a full character? So if you're keeping a sketchbook, do this. Have some fun. Don't just fill a sketchbook and then walk away from it. I'm not entirely sure the people that keep sketchbooks as, this is what I do. I draw in sketchbooks. I appreciate it, and that this is their creative outlet and they're doing it. But why not use those things? Why not allow yourself to try to figure out and, you know, do something with that? Engage with the material that you've spent some time, put it together. And if you haven't already utilized it purposely for something else, why not? Maybe that might be a solution to an immediate problem. Right? Right. I think I'm going to do something like this. Because if I decide now to put the rest of the horse in here, this gives me the opportunity to do that now. Now we're thinking about horse anatomy. So this would be, I'm thinking about where the front of the horse would be, right? And how the first leg muscle would be like this. So here's the back, shoulder. Go team, go team, go. All right. So now we can continue that part on. Still say it's awesome that you are your own source. Hardest part is finding a good source. Not a problem I have. Well, yeah, but I'm not. I'm an intaker, right? Like I am constantly. Oh, I saw a car. I'm trying to draw a bit of a car. That's it. Move on. And what that challenges me to do is to think about all of these different things. And then when it comes to doing a composition, how do I incorporate these different, how do I do something with these different elements and these different things that I've been picking up on? And it makes me have to challenge myself, to push outside of a box. So let's color in our horse just to make it a little more clear that, hey, there's something back there. And then we can do something with our background color as well. Bunch of stuff in the works right now. Pretty pleased about. Good feelings. Sometimes life likes to test you a little bit. We've had a bit of testing. That's all right. Keeps us active. Keeps us thinking. That's a really bright orange. That's all right. We'll do something more in a second with this. Let's see. If I got, yes, I do. Yeah, so, okay, so we've picked these different elements here so far, right? From our sketchbook page. And then now we've got legs. Now we've got to figure out, and we'll unify things in a moment. We're still going to get to that. But let's do some fun kind of background. Boom. Why not? Let's use the boom. Bring in the boom. So, and I'm going to try it a little bit differently here. Do I have? Why, I do. So I've got, these are these inexpensive markers, acrylic marker pens here. And let's see. You be my friend? Yes, you are. So we'll start picking out some things in our background here, tying some stuff up. So that the green pen that's in here, we'll have to go over this again with some yellow. But I just want to start pulling out our horse a little bit. So this is just an acrylic marker, and now I'm going over, I said green pen, what I meant was the green tape that I have in here that I've just stuck in the composition just to make some interesting element here. And now we've gone over that, but that green's still popping through, right? And we like that. We love it. Just because it just gives us a little something more. So we could put in some more white in these areas where the under drawing that was already there is popping through. Okay, push that back a little bit so that our composition is actually starting to cohese now. A reed to sketch, mark make with ink, slicing at an angle. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things where when you're in school, they're like, okay, today we're drawing with sticks. And people go, what? Sticks? Yeah, that's fun kind of ways to apply yourself, is by trying things outside the norm. And, I'm good in that space. So, okay, so we've used this white. Now, the boom. We've talked about the boom. We haven't forgotten the boom. So when you look at the color, the palette of stuff, right? We've got, this very clear underpinning of yellows going on. So why don't I jump over to, let me see what I got for blues. So why don't I jump over for some blues? And I'm going to take this light blue acrylic and we'll start utilizing some of these shapes. in our background. And because it's acrylic paint marker, it'll go over our other drawing. So I'm just experimenting, putting some of the dots and spots and things in here first, and then we'll start putting in some of these larger shapes. But I want to make sure that, and I'm not following it to the letter, I'm just, that's the thing about sketchbooks, is that they give us wonderful ideas for us to utilize in the source realm, but you don't have to sit hard and fast to it. Yeah, the whole point of a sketchbook is researching ideas, trying things out, seeing what notions kick for you, but not being so confined that you're just trying to replicate something that you've already done. Right? Right. And as I might still yet come and do a little highlight embossment to keep these other characters in the background, like to separate them off that. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill in this blue, and I'm going to come in and we're going to shake it up, give it a little more character than just this flat value. Debating. Yeah, let's do it. Let's follow the outline of the horse here, just to keep it interesting. Here we are. Give me a sec. So as assembling this image from these random scattering of sketches in our book, my arm's getting tired from all the sketchbook. Do you have any tricks for making brick backgrounds? I love the brick shape, and it can be so many different colors. Yeah, I'll show you something in a sec. We'll look at bricks in just a minute. You know what? We'll put bricks in behind here. How's that? That's the thing I was talking about the other day, about be receptive to whatever ideas pop into play along the way in your process. Be receptive to opportunities. And bricks are going to be an opportunity for us. So, ow. Pull the headphone right out of my ear. There we go. Okay, let's find. I'm looking for a red pen. Oh, red pen. Hello. Well, you're orange. You're close. Let's go. So, okay, so we've got these background elements drawn in here now. A brick pattern is pretty straightforward. I tend to like, guys, that it's not perfect. I tend to like when you see a drawing and somebody's in their illustration, they've got bricks that are kicking in and they're not worried about everything being uniform. Simple rule is this: halfway across this brick is where the other brick below starts. And if it's this space for here, it's that space for there. So if you're going up above, that's how you make your bricks match. Let me move this like this so you can see it a little clearer, right? Lost my page, we'll find it again. So there's the center point of these two bricks is the middle of the bricks above and below. The center point right here. See how it continues? And then you just follow that pattern, the width of the bricks, if it's important to you, and the spacing of the bricks. So that this is how you have your brick wall start to take shape. And then you can, from that point forward, start to fiddle around with, the bricks are moving at angles and widths and introduce diagonal lines, whatever you like. But once you can figure this out, and you understand that that's the size of your brick, and you know that that's the size of your brick, and there's another brick that starts there, you know that the next brick is here. So now your brick wall can move behind your object because you understand the spacing size of your bricks. If they're uniform, if you're keeping them uniform to some extent, best of your ability. Now you can pre-measure all this out. And there's great benefit to pre-measuring it out if you're still figuring it out. But don't forget the gutters in between the bricks, right? That spacing that's in between there. Very, very important. So this is just, you know, an interesting little design motif to add in the back. Right? Guess. Well, you've already done it now, you tall maniac. So I'm just carrying it through. I'll just run down to the bottom of the page with it. And then we can actually put it in there as well. So you understand that that's a brick, even though it's just a flat rectangular space, because the consistency of the motif that carries through for the next levels, what carries forward that idea. Brick, space, brick, space, brick, space, brick, space, bump, 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 bump. So there's that brick. And as soon as I understand that brick, now I understand the rest of the bricks and the spacing therein. So we can carry over a motif. I hope this all makes sense, folks. Oh, it doesn't, Chris. Make some sense already, would you? So as I'm drawing this, the other part that's going through my noggin is story. What in the world is this assembly of images now? And not nice. It's not how mine looked. Yeah, no, give it a go. Give it a go. Sometimes it's just figuring out how to replicate a pattern. That once you figure out the how to, then it'll start to take shape more to your liking over time. So, okay, so we've taken these random images out of our book and we've started drawing them. Here we go. So we started drawing them in, but what is this image saying? What in the world have we done? Well, let's figure out a story to this. You know, we could call this something to do with jockeys, I guess. Maybe we can play with that as a motif. See, this doesn't have to be perfectly aligned, by the way. As long as the size of the bricks are relatively stable, then, you know, you can get away with fudging it a little bit. It doesn't have to perfectly line up because there's so much in between. All right, dark blue. So now I have to see if I can find that page. Oh boy, what did you do, Chris? What am I looking for? Boom, right? Does anybody remember that, how far in the book that was? So we've clearly got, there it is, I saw the boom. So we've cleared, you know, by keeping a sketchbook and allowing yourself to put down freely all these ideas, we've clearly got a source amount of things to work from. So I'm smudging it on purpose a little bit here, just to Is that over top? It's over top. Just to give a little bit of interesting, blur effect around the boom. So we've got, oh, that didn't work too well. Let's try this. Yeah. Okay, so this is me putting in the background shape now. So I'm growing my nails back out, and I find they get in the way all the time. And I'm getting through this period of frustration, leaving them alone, because having nails is good for when you bang your fingers and your nails protect your fingers, which I do. So now we're separating, because of this darker value, we're really pushing these things off the back, hopefully. Note to Christopher, make a tag to hold pages or buy fun paper clips. Well, I'm holding up my whole sketchbook with my thumb here, right? And then I find that when I'm doing smaller things, they're always rotating around anyways. So I tend not to find clips very comfortable. If we got any more, oh, yep, some down here. We got down here. We got a little bit of this plastic business. And so now this has become some kind of graphic on the wall, I guess, or in the background. That's fun. So we've got our characters here. Let's do something to separate our different planes. What have I got? What are you? Is that? Oh, that's like a flesh tone. Hey, you're handy. Come on in here. He's got legs. A little bit right there. Okay, so I'm thinking the red might work. Or is this too much? Maybe for the horse it works. And then we'll come in with that black pen, I think, is our go-to here. But at least we'll do it around the horse. So I've got a bunch of sketchbook slideshows, or I'm sorry, sketch card slideshows that I've been putting up between drawings I do on Sundays or sketches I do for paintings. I did that, put one of those up recently for a couple of paintings I did for an office of a mountain and a forest. And so I've got more sketch cards that come, sketch card slideshows. Okay, let's go back into here and pull out some of these fun details that we had in our original sketch. There we go. And we'll do the same thing here. So this is tape that those lines are over, and then this is just the card itself that these lines are going over. But I'm just following through, seeing where else I got marks. Just keeping the lines consistent across the pair. Where else have I got some? Let's make some up. Put some in here. And we'll put some straight through here. So hopefully it's making a little bit more sense. Oopsie daisy. I'm not worried about drawing over the sketchbook underneath. So sorry about that. Okay, so last thing. I'm going to pick out this nice crisp black Finensuke. You're a good one. Yeah, we're the best one. And then I'm going to tighten up our lines around the contour of our foreground characters, just to separate them a little bit from our background. And hopefully pull them forward towards the viewer's eye by distinctly making them off the back. So let's do it to this crazy kid. Let's do it to Rod Stewart. You know why he's kind of like Rod Stewart? Because he wears it well. It's a little old-fashioned, but I don't mind. So by putting this embossing line here now, any of these background developments that I did that crossed over slightly into these characters can be cleaned up this way. So here's our dudes. Do we do it for the horse too? Why not? Let's do it for the horse too. Or do we want to make it like the horse is part of the background? I don't care. We're doing it for the horse. Yeah, I kind of like doing it on the horse. But I'm doing it on the outside of this red line to separate the blend of the red and the blue. Toity it up. What do we got? You want to do another one? You do another one if people want. We're going to get a little more crazy with this one. But so we pulled this, and then the suggestion of a brick wall in the background is what has allowed us to put together this page. Looking for one more thing. I thought I had. There it is. He was hiding. So I've got this brown ballpoint pen, and just going to put a little bit of texture into our bricks. And then we can do another one if people like. Do we do a different page or the same page? $1 million question. Is there any elements that people saw on these pages that they think, hey, pull that out? I know I'm covering it up right now. Woo-hoo, ha ha ha. So just making this a little more bricky. I'm bricky. Very urban. In my head, these are horse jockeys. Rather random horse jockeys, but horse jockeys. Or was there another page that somebody saw that they said, pick some stuff off of that? I don't mind doing that either. Oh, you can see by doing this, taking one last look at adding something to it, that I didn't put bricks right there. What are you doing? Come on. Get it together. What is the oxygen thin up there? And then we'll do the same little bit for these ones over here. Tick, 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 boom. Okay, so there's, oh no, how can you tell I have 7 siblings? Oh, there you go. So here's the finished thing from the random elements that are on that page. And, we can tidy up little bits and bobs. It doesn't matter, right? Let's do another one. Let's see. I'm going to try to find something that's got something on it already, instead of just a plain old white bit of paper. This is interesting. It looks like I was trying to draw Dan Hedaya or something. All right. Okay, so I'll do the same thing. If somebody wants to type stop, then I will stop on that page, and that's what we're going to use. Unless somebody sees a page and like, that page, use that page. No, that one. No, not that one. That one. That one. That one. 5, 4. Okay, there we are. We're stopped. So, okay. I like that. First thing caught my eye. This one right here. So, whatever this is. So, I'm going to just come in. So, I've got some kind of, this looked like I was sketching somebody's face on here. Maybe we'll continue to use this. But before that, let's take this loose figure. Is this going to be able to show up? Maybe not. Hold on. Let's cut it out first. And I'll do it so that you can see it while we're doing it. So here's this random figure I'm trying to put onto our page. How do you scan the image that you like and eliminate any other images on top? Honestly, I just redraw it generally. But it's doable. It just takes some time with an eraser tool in Photoshop. I try to, as I'm drawing something that I think I'm going to pull out of the book, I try to scan that then. And the reason for that is that I'm going to cover it up, probably. I'm going to make a mess of it eventually. So why not use it before I don't have it? Lose it. That's the thing I meant, lose it. So I'm redrawing this figure from in the book onto the page. And, to the best that I can. You got the person holding their head here. And here's their shoulder. Some fun lines in the shape of that back. Some fun lines in there. Empty chair. Yeah, we can put a chair in here. No problem. I'm with you. I'm down with that bad sound. All right, so let's do just that. Changing things around here a little bit. I want the shoulder up higher. Okay, and then the second arm is reaching down to grasp a hold of something. What it is, we do not know. There's that round shape, and then there's that shape, and then we've got a second one, and that one moves off that way, and then we have this shape, which is the inversion of that shape, and it moves off that way. So, you know, there's wings there. Okay, so we've taken this character out and put them on our page. So there's a fun element to add. There's a suggesting putting a chair in here. We can do that. We'll make a decision on our chair in just a moment. Is there anything else off this page that somebody sees that's, hey, stick that in? There's all kinds of fiddly bits and business throughout here on this side. But things like that. I draw they're greebles and bits and bobs and whatnots and who's that and what's McCallits. So we got all kinds of other things that we can put on here. I'm just going to put a little bit of this black line around this figure just to pop them off the back a little bit more. So that's a white pen, jelly roll pen that I've used there. And then now we're putting our black ballpoint pen in to cut these shapes out a little bit more from their background. Empty chair. Whoops, I'm so sorry. I moved too far over. Yeah, let's see. There's another guy here. Looks like he could have some kind of wing or something there. We can do this, dude. Why not? Let's do that. So this is another character that's just quick scribbled in here. So we'll put him here. So my next thought to where placement is interesting combinations of shapes and figures in a composition. Move the eye around a little bit. Sorry, scratching my nose while I'm drawing at the same time. That, makes messes. Sometimes you just got to deal with that nose situation, So here's these elements here coming together. And there's a second hand peeking up. And all the fingers aren't so readily defined, but that's good. We like that. That's how we sketched it in. And then here's this character's face. Well, at least their head shape off of here. Change that shape a little bit. So what we don't have is the lower part of the body, so let's add in some of that. The man with glasses. This, you want that in too? Okay, we'll put that in too. It's an awesome background image. It's very different for sure, but okay, so here's our two. Now, see this shape here? Is this not sort of emulative of what we've done up here with this one? So maybe there's something to be done for that. Just to place that in, just for scuds. Okay, so here in our foreground, let's put that one more guy in, but I'm going to do it in a very different way. And we'll see how well this takes. So these are very different. Two applications so far today. but we're coming. So I'm going to do this very different. I'm going to put this character in reverse. So I'm going to draw him in. Are you going to work for me today? You got some juice in you, kid? All right. So I'm going to put him in the foreground if he's going to work. I might be out. Might be out of juice. I think I might be. Dead. Hold on a second. Oh, no moment to see the plate. Seeing if I got more white markers kicking around here. Okay, we'll do it with ink. I got a light fast ink right here. See if we can get this working. Is it gummed up? Maybe it gummed up because I haven't used it in 3 days. It's all right. We got it. We got it. Okay, so I've got some white ink loaded up on this brush. We've got our face here. Okay, the jockey needs a riding jacket. Okay, guess they're not jockeys. So, all right, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to put this character in, but I'm going to put him in, I'm just going to paint him in the background. So we can do a similar motif here of the urban aesthetic, maybe, of having this be something on a wall and behind. We'll see. We'll see. We haven't decided yet, have we? We're open to the possibilities. So, but I'm using the background to peek through as we're putting our kid in here. Adding our whites instead of drawing in the darks. Kid's got some ears. So I like to do this a lot. And a lot of my thinking behind it is this very different application than line art makes me keep my brain loose. Ivy leaf. Do I have a favorite element? No. Maybe just people, right? Maybe just I don't mind drawing characters at all. So we're just trying to replicate that smile. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a friend of mine's son. He's got a very similar face structure and smile. So here's this guy peeking through now. And then as I go over with the white specific spots, it makes the value a little more opaque, therefore lightening up those areas. We still have yet to, we'll put the glasses in a minute, but here's the portrait of our young man in the background. Why? I don't know. We're not thinking about whys. We're not thinking about anything other than just picking images out and throwing compositions together out of them. Are they all going to be successful? No. But we're going to have fun doing it? Yes. All right. Well, hopefully. I hope people have fun doing it. So this is a white water brush pen that you can find at dollar stores and Walmarts and art stores, etc., that I filled with white ink. So that's what I'm using here to draw this in. So here's our young man in the background. And we'll just put a little divider line around the head. Yeah, you got me thinking now, Liz. I don't know if I have a specific recurring motif and stuff other than people, you know. That might be it for me. All right, let's come in here. Now we've got some of this business going on. Let's start doing something with this face that was already here in our background. And let's start pulling this back out a little bit. And we'll do it in between. So we're just doing this on the fly with what we've already got supplied for us from our previous monkeying around with something else. But we're going to enhance this a little bit and pull it out just into something a little more definable. See what I mean? A little bit. You go over the white again and it gets a little darker for us. I'm not sure what's on this surface. It's brown paint, white pencil crayon maybe, or it might be China marker. I'm not sure yet. There's a little bit of separating that's going on, so it may well be the waxy China marker. But, you know, we're just trying to define this face a little bit more in the background behind our character and then blend it into our dude here as though it's a kind of a collaged assortment of images on a wall, maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought it through too much. We're just going with it in a moment. I like this part of the brush. Am I missing stuff? We got our man with the glasses in. So we can do these fairies, or I think they're kind of like fairies because they're smaller than everybody else. I don't have a favorite medium to use per se, although I find drawing with pen to be kind of, or a marker, like just grabbing a tool and just doing the thing and scribbling all kinds of whatever business with it. I find that fun. Trying to get this to speckle a little bit more, and it's not being entirely agreeable. Oops. That was a quick edit when I smudged something out with my finger immediately after putting it down. So I've got, let's do a little bit more here. There we are. Trying to straighten out that one piece. Give me a sec. Trying to fix the life of this brush. Let's put that aside. All right, so put the lid back on the ink before I spill it all over the place. Now I'm going to, so we've got this here. I've got a white China marker that I'm going to bring into the mix in a second, but I want the ink in the background to dry a little bit more. But what we can do is take this ballpoint and go back to the drawing of the face and start picking out some of these marks that we have in here. That is a nice smile on that kid, that's for sure. Kind of looks like Stuart Copeland. You know, my own weird way of seeing things. Who's Stuart Copeland, you ask? Oh, boy. How much time for fun do we have? See, I like effects like that, where things blend one into the next. Oh, thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Yeah, just stay open to the possibilities, right? Like that's the thing with the happy accidents, you know. I believe it was a legendary truth sayer, Bobbert Ross, that said, "We're just going to stay open to happy accidents as they come along." If I was at home Saturday afternoon, young man growing up, I would leave Bob Ross playing in the background just because it's so nice and calming. Okay, so here's where we've reproduced our sketch of kid with glasses into our drawing. And let's soften up his jaw a little bit. So he's coming through there. Yeah. So I'm not entirely sure what is going on here yet, but we're having some fun. All right, wax pencil. Let's come in here with this now. This should be dry enough. I'm fiddling around with the background before I'm fiddling around with the foreground here, which is a different, very different, very much the opposite of what we did last time. So this is like a nice crayon, you know, really is what China markers really are. So what this surface is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of overlapping paper that are all taped together, and there's 2 pieces on top of the 3 in the background. So just because why not, right? And then some brown paint thrown over top of it all. So here's some of a person's face coming in a little more readily now. Boom! That was an explosion of crayon. Somebody was pressing too hard. Take it easy, Runsman. Are you trying to hurt the paper? Are you angry at the paper or something? Did the paper steal your spaghetti sauce? I got nothing. So these little random lines that are appearing is because of separation. Looks like a person with multiple personalities having a dilemma. That's fun. Okay, so we've got some of this bit of business coming together here now. Let's throw a base value down on, so we're going to pull the characters here now out. And so what I'm going to do is, this is just the first marker that I grabbed, but I'm now going to fill in these forms and pull this off the background. And we're going to add more to it, but so I keep a load of, so whenever I'm doing stuff, different things, and I might cut a piece of paper down, or, you know, hey, I don't care about that part, but I don't want to waste the surface here. I don't care about what I've put on it, but why throw it out? So I'll cut it down. And so I've got a number of stacks in my paper shelves, where different sizes with different bits of business on them that I will use for this sort of a thing. Without too much concern about what goes over top of what. And, you know, this is just something fun for a background now. It's an opportunity. So, you know, your mistakes, they're not useless. They're just waiting to be reutilized. So here's our next guy. Now, if I go over this, you can see it's pretty, there's some real line work going on in, because of the whatever surface was already on here. I'm not sure what was down below in the original drawing area, but that black is smudging and really defining the lines a little more clearly than just allowing me to have a solid color of orangey flesh tone thing. But we're pulling our background characters out now. So these different random things that we have here, you know, we're trying to tie something together out of it, right? What was it, Chris said? Person with multiple personalities. I mean, there's a couple more things that we could put in, maybe, people think. Like, see how there's this random bit of whatever? Technology. Some of it down here. I mean, some of that stuff can be added across. Who knows? But for now, let's just, I like drawing cartoony guys, by the way. Let's just do something with this. You know what? I think I am going to put one more. I'm going to put a piece of the dragon in here. A piece of the dragon. What did I do? Oh, I drew it with ink. Okay. I'll just draw it in with this. Yeah, hallucinations. So this dragon mouth shape, I'm just going to, actually I'll do it with the black pen. I'm just going to add that in here. Just because there's something, I want to do something with this space. You see, there's sometimes like residue left over on the surface. You have to accommodate or try to work through. Like, that's what was clunking up this pen. Was that. So I'm drawing in these random teeth shapes. So there's just this random piece of dragon, you know, for no one but us. We did that because we wanted it. We wanted it there, right? So I'm putting this light blue acrylic in, but then I'm smudging it out. And the reason that I drew in the black pen is that it can still see it peeking through. And the parts that I want to enhance, I just go over top with said same black pen. But the reason that I'm smudging this as soon as I'm putting the value down is because I want to destabilize the opacity of it, as though this is something that was already in our background, whatever our background is. And we can come back in and start to separate some of the parts of what we know as a dragon face. We can do that in a minute. This is what happens to your fingers. Okay, so here we are now, which is, again, kind of different from this one. But we can add some elements to it. Let's come in. Did I not have a white one of these? Here, I got a yellow. So I'm going to put some yellow in this thing in the background. And again, I'm softening it out as I go, toning it down a little bit. And then we're going to add some red bits. I've left the underlying blue there purposefully, because then it sort of peeks through, right? Right. And then we'll put some teeth in. Letting these peek through just a little bit more. So there's our, oh, let me do one more thing. Yeah, just because. So there's our weird pre-existing painting on our wall. And yeah, so let's do these characters. Let's do something with them. So the idea being here is that it's one thing superimposed over another, I guess, at this point. Just thinking out loud. I have a growing pile of things beside me, so now it takes me a second longer to try to figure out the things that I had handy, because the handiness, yeah, that's not doing anything. The handiness is dissipating in value. So I've discovered different colors of China markers now as well, which is an exciting prospect to me. So I'm going to put another coat of this value down. Put a nose in there. And the reason for doing so is to solidify some of these colors that are already applied. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to try different things. Don't be afraid to step out of the comfort of your wheelhouse. What are you going to do? Make a mistake? Excellent. Make mistakes. Mistakes are good. Mistakes are your friend. Because mistakes means you're learning. Not making mistakes. I never make mistakes. It's always great. Everything always works out the way I'm doing stuff. May well mean that you're not challenging growth in yourself. May not. You know, it may well mean that, hey, you got it figured out, Jack. Good for you. Everybody's jealous. Oh, Chris is off. Thanks very much, Chris, for coming and joining us today. Okay, so I'm going to monkey around here a little bit for a minute. And I'm just whiting this down so that we can do something different with it in a second. Okay. So we can add some colors and clothes to, I guess I don't need this open anymore. Might make this a little bit easier to see. All right, so we're going to add some colors. I'm going to put some yellow in here, and I'm going to add some green to it in just a second. I can't remember, was it Liz that said something about leaves? So let's get these kids up in some leaves. All right, I'll come back to this in a moment. So I'm putting down, as I'm drawing the leaves in here for the top of the vestments, it's also helping me to define their form a little bit more. Yeah, I might not be happy with that one. It's too dark. We gotta make them pop. Pop, pop, pop. There we go. So now we're putting on their green leotards. So these are our little fairy elf type things that we're putting in to our drawing now. Why? Because we can. Don't ask me. I just draw here. So these the different colors that I'm using, these bright colors, is intentionally to pull it off the background. If you like things like little elves and things, check out the work of Patrick Woodruff, little fairies. Woodruff's what an absolute gift creator is that person. Yeah, maybe we'll go back to that. I did have another green, did I not? Boy, where my looks go, I'm in trouble. Whoa. So I'm going to use that dark green just for a second, but we're going to put some highlights in it with the lighter greens in a sec. So here's, and then here we go. Okay, where are we at? Who's an excellent creator? I would argue that a really unique and interesting voice today. I cite two people that I've enjoyed since the 1990s, and that's Dave McKeon and Bill Sienkiewicz. But there's a great wealth of people that are out there doing some really cool stuff. Jakub Rebelka, I like his the way he paints and stuff. Frank Quietly, another interesting person that I enjoy. There's a whole load of different folks doing different things. Is this going to work out for us? I'm going to try. Ish. It's working ish. I don't know. You're going to find all kinds of, there's a great person. Actually, let me recommend people to this. There's a great person named Pete Beard who is going through every animator that he can come across. Every illustrator that he can come across in the history of illustration. And he's doing little specials on all of them. And some of them are people you may well never have heard of. This is a green pen. But I really enjoy his program. There's just that's a real blessing to be able to see the work of all these other people. And so he's going to show all kinds of people that were doing some great stuff in the early 1900s, late 1800s, mid 1800s. History of illustration, contemporary publishing illustration. So you'll see Beardsley and all kinds of different people like that. Of course, does an episode on McKay. But just the chance to come across a lot of these graphic designers and children's book illustrators and so forth, that's great. That's fantastic. So Pete, P-E-T-E, Beard. He's got a voice like this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking about Richard Starkers. Known to be an illustrator in the early 1900s. Really calming, really great stuff. So there's our leaf suits coming together now. I'm drawing, this is a green pen. Before I get too much in the leaves, instead of the weeds, get it? Get it? Thanks very much, folks. Try the view. So before I get too caught up in that part, I'm going to put what I had intended for the wings, the color I had intended for those in there. Just give me a second and we'll do that. So Pete Beard is absolutely phenomenal for introducing people to all manner of incredible illustrators of the past. So take a look. Check out his channel. This person used gouache. You learn how to say gouache in a different way. His monochrome inking styles were lauded all around the area as being one of the best. Then he got into gouache. Yeah, I like his program. I'm in Canada. Yeah. Yep, I'm a Canuck. I did a stream recently where I used my actual Canadian voice, eh? So did Corbin. Corbin's like, "Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream there, buds." Okay. So I'm just plonking away at these figures that are flitting about. But I haven't gone too far into defining them too clearly. Is this even working? Are you working? Oh, paper. Yeah, it wasn't even working. Get out of here. It doesn't work. Okay, so I'm just going to use this brown rather than a black pen to start to separate our fairies, start to define their features a little more. My book order never arrived because Amazon does not deliver to my small town or location. Oh, yeah. We can try to figure that out. I don't know why Amazon doesn't do that. We'll figure something out there. Well, the third one's not out yet. That one's taking forever to finish. I know, and I'm sorry. But I just can't stop dancing. And we'll do the same thing as we did in the previous one, where we'll emboss the characters so they pop off the background. All right, let's get in there with the black and do that. Okay, so I'm gonna keep track of the time here. I get carried away. Oh yes, yeah, right. That's all right. Well, let's keep going for a few. So I'm not filling in all of the lines around the leaves because there's a whole bunch of dooley whatnot that I'm going to do on the leaf shirt still, but we're doing some separating here. But hopefully this should help clearly pull this character off. Would I consider reviewing other illustrators and how they drew stuff? So there's a lot of people that do these, like if it's somebody saying, you know, can you take a look at what I'm doing? Sure, I'd love to help, but I won't do it in like a big public forum because that can be unfair. And there's a lot of people that have these channels where they got these huge numbers of followers and all they do is look at other people's work. And I'm like, I'm far more interested in seeing people do work or doing work myself rather than, I don't appreciate that the people that spend all their time looking at other people's stuff and pulling it apart. I don't think that's fair because they're doing it with their sensibilities, not the other person's. And whether they're conscious of it or not, they're doing it for their own benefit. It's a weird thing, you know. Someone will argue me until they're blue in the face about that. I don't care. But it's a weird thing how people don't, you know, necessarily think about that. That's why the whole AI thing is healthy. And the reason I say it's healthy is that it's going to make a bunch of people take stock about what they're doing. I would sooner people didn't use it and actually engaged with other human beings. But for those that are a little too in a rut or overly sure about this is their unique thing, but it's so easily replaceable by the AI, maybe it's a good, healthy call to say, hey, look at it differently. We get static in what we do, all of us. And, you know, people that, I'm not somebody that has any specific skill to be able to look and criticize other people's things. I don't want to do that. I want to celebrate their things more than look at it and take it apart. If there's ways that help people, great, but do it with the people, don't do it in front of an audience. Here's our people coming through now. I do look at them sometimes and wondered if you didn't say, yeah, I just, you know, when I see those things and I see, like, that's why I like Pete Beard, because Pete Beard says, here's this person's work and just explains their career and here's the different mediums that they used and you know, the challenges in the world around them at the time and, you know, trying to illustrate 1930s Austria, you know, all kinds of things like that, and with the challenges of getting, a job in Argentina in the 1920s as printing processes started to change the game. There's really, really cool things to be discovered in that, but I'll rather sing the praises of a thing, express the bounty, the glorious bounty of people's creativity than have a channel based entirely on ripping other people up. There's celebration too, no doubt about it, but all it takes is one. Yeah, send me an email. We'll figure something out, Liz. I'm not sure why it's not letting you do it. You must be remote. So now I'm going to play with this face. Bring it out a little bit. This kid's gorgeous. That's fun. Okay, well, total population here is 5,000. That's not that small. I'm from a town that boomed up to 900 people, and it's only 400 in it now. All right, so here's our next thing. If I kept at it, I would fiddle with it for however long and draw in all the leaves, and So there's the other thing that we did today. So there's our two sketches, whatever it is that we worked on today. Just play, just have fun, and try different things out and see, what combinations of things. But if you like, this whole process has been going through sketched images in our sketchbooks. I mean, like, I can't do, this is licensed things. Like, these are somebody else. Those are Star Wars dudes, right? I can just do a little print of Star Wars people, but all these other sketches and scribbles of people in crowds, like, I love doing stuff like this. But how do we utilize that? So if I was going to do another sketch card right now, I'd use them. So yeah, there you go. Okay, folks. Well, I'm going to sign off. Thanks very much, everybody, coming and hanging out. I appreciate it, and thank you very much for all the conversation. Liz is going to go practice some bricks now. Oh, that's great. So yeah, if you've got a sketchbook cooking around, keep at it and save those things so that you can draw upon them for other uses. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow with another page, and I will post today's page in a little bit. Bye for now, folks.